Alright, so I'm recovering from a very serious sickness right now. I was consuming too much One Punch Man. Shit is just straight up toxic to the human body, apparently. But the days of the trash aren't over, because today we're taking a look at even more trash. Thankfully, it's the good kind. Gachiakuta. Now, thankfully, I did some recording before I got sick, so in the next moment, I'm going to sound normal. I really like the art style of the show, the character designs are awesome, I'm balls deep into this shit, 18 episodes in, been watching it weekly, pretty good stuff overall. So the world of Gachiakuta is fucked. There's the ground and the sphere. This is the sphere. It's a floating rock. It's where the more privileged people get to live, and on it there's another separation between the rich people and the poor people. So on the rich side, everything's clean, everything's white, they all look like they're part of a royal family, they have a handful of caviar and a cup of tea for breakfast every morning, they probably speak Japanese with a British accent. And on the other side, beyond the walls, it's the slums, a place for the poor. It looks like ass, very gloomy and depressing place, barely livable houses, just the complete opposite of the city. And that is the two sides of the sphere, and below them is the ground. And if the slums is the anus, then the ground is the shit that comes out of the anus. Because the people living on the sphere dump all their garbage down to the ground, so the people living down there are dying. The ground's on a strict feces only diet, everyone's having it rough. So that's basically the whole world, pretty fucked up. And this is our protagonist, Rudo, and he's the classic angry anime guy. He's that kind of protagonist, like Bakugo shit. He's always angry. Whenever he smiles, he just looks like he's one bad day away from cosplaying as Santa Claus and gift wrapping pipe bombs for children. And he lives in the slums with his adoptive father, Recto. And one thing about our boy Rudo is he fucking loves trash. So he'd sneak into the city and steal trash, and the guards over there are so fucking crazy because when they caught him stealing trash in the first episode, this guy sounded the alarm like he was carrying out some crazy heist, like he was stealing the nuclear launch codes. So the whole place goes on lockdown, they start firing him down like he's a wanted criminal in 50 different countries, and all this for stealing trash. But they all got the stormtrooper aim, so he's able to escape. Then one day, his adoptive father gets killed by a man in a mask, and he gets blamed for it, so he gets punished and cast away, and they'll throw him down the pit. You dare stain this beautiful sacred land with your heinous act, you disgusting lowly creature, and your violent ways of living taking the life of another at such a young age. Even though the victim was nothing more than a simple, poor, repulsive tribesfolk that I couldn't really give a shit about, I'd rather be sipping on my tea than to even set foot on this disgusting chunk of land in which you animals reside. But a man did lose his life today, and my job is to act like I care, and for that, you'll be sentenced to death. Send him to the pit. So that's basically the whole jizz. He falls and he sees the murderer among the crowd, and his childhood crush also turns on him, believing he's the actual killer. So he goes from an angry little dude to an even angrier little dude. So now he wants revenge and to destroy everything on that floating land. And this is where Rudo begins his trashy adventure, where he tries to find his way back up and kill everyone. So yeah, that's basically the whole gist. He falls down, didn't die to fall damage because he's so angry he refuses to die. And the situation on the ground is so fucking bad that monsters are spawning from trash piling up. And these monsters are called trash beasts. And as you would expect, the air is also trash. In certain areas you can't breathe at all. It's basically just inhaling poison straight into your lungs. It's healthier to smoke 80 packs of cigarettes and do hard drugs than to breathe in certain areas. So Rudo's not having the greatest time. He can fight, but he's dying. Luckily for Rudo, a guy by the name of Enjin comes in to save him. He gives him a mask and got ready to deal with the trash beast. He whips out his umbrella and pounds their asses to oblivion. Made sure to pop open his umbrella like a Fortnite glider to avoid taking fall damage. Sick shit. Then his umbrella gets erected and he flies straight to the monster's head like a meteor and popped its skull. And the creature crumbles to dust. And he takes off his helmet and mask to Aura Farm in exchange for a week of his lifespan. So Enjin's umbrella is what you would call in this world or this place a vital instrument. So these objects obviously have some supernatural powers in it, and the people with a vital instrument are called givers. And to gain a vital instrument, one must have a very deep special bond with a particular object, take extreme care of it, and they also need to be able to pour energy from their thoughts and emotions and their soul into the object, some shit like that. And that energy is called anima. Anima? Anal sex? And one person can only have one vital instrument. Then Enjin recruits Rudo to the team because Rudo had his anime awakening, he got his own vital instrument that is really good, and since Rudo has nowhere to go, he follows, and there are a lot of trash beasts, so they need more cleaners, and in exchange, they'll help him find a way to get back up. So Rudo's vital instrument is his gloves. He can touch things and turn that object into his vital instrument. So he has a fuck ton of shit to work with. So the ground tends to get freaky, a bunch of shit can go down, and the organization Enjin works at is called the Cleaners. It's a bunch of givers who fight trash beasts. So we meet the main crew that's going to be sticking around, a bunch of cool characters, their designs are awesome. That girl's Riyo, that's mediocre man Zanka, and that's the receptionist, Semu. She's really cool, she's really smart, she loves studying, as you can see, she's learning about the human anatomy right there. Those sure look really interesting, I think I too would love to study with her. Then Rudo gets sent out on his first mission to take care of some trash beasts with Riyo. And they're also out with a few supporters. These people don't have powers, their role is supporting, who would have fucking thought. Now we get to see Riyo's vital instrument, which is a giant pair of scissors. She goes in, starts spinning her scissors around, decapitates a bunch of trash beasts, and now that she's got a bit of warm-up in, it's the big boy's turn. And only Riyo can fight it. Rudo is still pissing his pants for the most part, so this will be his observation training. Then the beast slams its head to the ground and the floor collapses towards Rudo, but that's not going to be a problem for him. It's what you would think, if Rudo didn't have the survival instinct of a piece of bread and just stands there, watching everything around him collapse and eventually falls over. Luckily, Gris, one of the supporters, comes in to save him, and man can't have Rudo falling asleep on the battlefield again, so he just picks up the guy and carries him away. Then Riyo does her thing, she flies up and stomps down on her scissors and has it fly down like a missile, penetrating its head and exploding the beast. So they all made their way back to the base. First mission was a success, Rudo did jack shit, but everyone came back alive, so that's great news. So they throw a little welcome to the ground party for Rudo. Then, the next day, Semu gets a call and Rudo gets sent out on another mission, this time with Zanka and friends, taking care of trash beasts, same thing, yet again. However, when they arrive at the place they're called to, they meet a girl, and the girl lures them into a building, and they all suddenly fall through the floor. It was a bait. And this is where we meet the Raiders. And obviously, as the name suggests, they're not good people, they're a bunch of bandits, they're here to take Rudo because he's a spherite, a dude from the sphere. A very rare item to find one alive, because usually people die to fall damage, they don't ever get so angry and tell gravity to go fuck itself and refuse to die. So they want to capture him, torture him, do some weird things, or sell him to a creepy old guy. But the Raiders tell them no, they just want to know more about the sphere, no weird activities, no touching of the spherite junk, they just want to talk. So obviously nothing's wrong here, everything is perfectly fine, they just pulled the classic trap you in a hole so we can have a nice civilized conversation method. So the supporters gave Zanka a quick pat on the back and said good luck as they all try to find the exit. Also, most raiders are purple, so it's pretty easy to identify them. So the girl has a little shovel, she can create mud figures, mud manipulation. So she surrounds him with a bunch of them, but her mud figures are as fragile as a hamster. However, she only uses them as a distraction while the other guy pops out of her puppets and give her boy Zanka back shots. So the guy's vital instrument is his shoes, he can hide in the mud figures. I'm actually not too sure how his power works, to be honest, because Zanka swipes the figure in half and he's still able to pop out of it. Very interesting. So Zanka continues to swing his stick around and bald dude pops up behind him. He goes for a trick shot, 360 kick straight to the ribs, sends him flying. So Zanka's on the ropes right now, but he gets back up, he sticks his vital instrument into the ground to find which puppet the guy's hiding in. So he runs in, one-shots the guy and smacks the girl after. He knocks the both of them out. Very simple, clean fight. Well, not clean, but it all worked out, rainbows and sunshine. Until an actual opponent shows up. You know it's fucked when our boy didn't even know the guy's right up his ass until he started speaking. Meanwhile, Rudo and friends found the exit, some supporters quickly made their way up to call for backup, and then someone runs their way, so they're like, "Holy shit, Zanka, are you injured? Hopefully you didn't fuck the Raiders too hard. By the way, what happened to your hair? Did you change your hairstyle mid-fight?" But surprise, surprise, it is not Zanka, he did not have time to get dreads. So the guy jumps in, instantly blocks the exit by breaking it, and he says don't worry, he didn't kill Zanka, he just knocked him out. However, he did inject him with an ungodly amount of venom, so he's not having the greatest time. And this guy's vital instrument is his rings that can transform into claws. So the supporters have no choice but to start fighting him since Rudo still sucks crazy ass at controlling his ability, but of course he easily dodges their attacks and he breakdances on their faces. Then Gris gets in front of Rudo to protect him, but he ends up getting claws through his body. Rudo can't believe what's happening, he didn't know how to react, so he ended up just standing there watching everybody around him get fucked. And as Gris falls over, his talisman flies over to Rudo, so he grabs it and he locks in, and he's able to bring out the object's full uninhabited worth. And seeing this guy got real horny to see what its powers are, and this guy's name is Jabber. And he's a little crackhead goblin who just loves fighting, crazy guy. So he goes in, tries to slice Rudo up like a piece of ham, but he misses, and he asks, "Why'd you dodge?" Oh, I don't know, maybe because Wolverine claws to the face just doesn't sound like an appetizing meal. So Jabber starts swinging his claws around, but Rudo's just edging him. Every time he's about to hit him, he gets pushed aside by the power of the talisman. So Gris likes to pray to this talisman, hoping everyone could make it back safe from their mission or whatever they're on, which is why when Rudo brings out its full potential, it's a weapon that focuses mainly on defense. So Jabber says that's cool and all, but that also means you can't attack. So Jabber jumps in and the talisman immobilizes him, and although the talisman can't do damage itself, it doesn't matter because Rudo's hands are registered weapons. So he tries to go in even quicker to catch Rudo with his pants at his ankles, but nothing can escape the sight of that talisman. So then Jabber tries something new. He's running around, breaking the pillars and kicking the broken pieces at him to distract him so he can sneak up on him. But the eye got that 180 FOV, no one's getting caught butt-ass naked on its watch. So Rudo fists him to the ground. Now Jabber realizes it's not working, but he said fuck it, I'm just gonna keep slamming my head into the wall and either the wall is gonna break or I'm gonna cum my pants. It's a win-win situation. So Rudo just smacks him across the face, Jabber comes to the front, he punches him, and Jabber's not looking very good. Rudo's an immovable object that keeps fucking his face. He's throwing infinite hands, and another right knuckles straight to the center of his face. His nose has turned into a pug's. However, Jabber's a little freak, he's a freaky little monster, he's a crazy masochist. He just had 6 orgasms in that montage of him getting completely fisted. And he realizes that Rudo's talisman only moves away things that have hostile intent, which is why earlier he had to manually dodge the rocks. And since Jabber's right claws contain a powerful neurotoxin, he decides to stab himself with it so he can start tweaking even more. That way he won't be able to think straight and he'll have no hostile intent. And it's fucking working. The talisman is not registering this nutcase as a threat. Oh shit, who's that running at us at a crazy speed with his claws out? And what's with that expression? Yeah, no, he's friendly, nothing to see here. So Rudo's now on manual control. He's gotta start dodging, which he does for a bit, but eventually his belt comes loose, his pants are down, his balls are dangling, and Jabber is right in front of his eyes. However, that's when his staff comes flying in, snatching away the little goblin. And Zanka is back. He woke back up and said, "Tag me and Rudo, it's time for some Gachiakuta." Except, he's moving like he just escaped from a retirement home. The poison is still kicking, so he's walking around like shit's about to fall out of his ass, not the greatest position you want to be in when you're fighting Jabber. So Zanka comes up with this crazy master plan. He's going to kill Rudo. But the talisman won't allow that, so then Rudo is going to be able to grab him and control him, kinda like he's using the force, and throw him at Jabber. Pretty damn good plan, I have to say. So Zanka goes in, tries to give Rudo a concussion, he gets stunned, Rudo grabs him, throws him at Jabber, but by the time he makes it, Jabber looks like he's been hit by unlimited void. However, that won't stop Zanka from smacking him across the face because he did sneak up on him last time, so it's only fair he gets him back. But Jabber is still up, the guy refuses to go down, he's not even knocked out, his cock is harder than last time, he's ready for more action. So Zanka gets launched across the place, he goes for a 360 trick shot straight to the back of his neck, and this continues for a bit. Jabber gets smacked around like a baseball, and Zanka finally lands the final blow, knocking him out, thank God. Then the talisman falls apart, it fades to dust because it has completed its purpose, and Rudo falls over because Jabber got a scratch on him at some point during the fight. And then, through some miracle black magic shit, Jabber can still move his left hand. So he stabs himself with his left claws, and he gets back up. So his left claws can make pain go away. He has adrenaline shots on standby. So he gets up, stabs Zanka once again, make sure that guy cannot move. And he picks up Rudo, and he starts running. This is absolutely fucking criminal. Jabber's just gonna pop up, terrorize the entire crew, and is just gonna pick up the loot and is just gonna skip his way out of this bitch. Unbelievable. But thankfully, as he jumps up, he meets Riyo, and Enjin comes in with a surprise attack, sending Jabber flying into a wall. And the entire squad pulled up on his ass, so surely this is where he gets taken down. So Tomei, this girl who's low-key a banger, and the others came in clutch, they called for backup. Enjin, now's not the time to aura farm, Gris and the others are still down there. Don't worry about it, those guys won't break so easily. Enjin says as Gris is lying there with a couple holes in his body, half conscious as he's bleeding out. And speaking of conscious, guess who's still conscious? Fucking Jabber, and he's throbbing to go for more. Those are real legitimate words with very real subtitles coming out of his mouth. Freaky ass dude. I'd get it if there were anime baddies like Lucy, Mei Mei, Quan Chi, or Ma Baruk from this really cool manga. Those people, they can spit in my mouth, flick my little friend downstairs, and I'll say thank you, please come again. This, on the other hand, is crazy. But yeah, so even after seeing it's a 1v4 situation and he's severely injured, Jabber does not care. He'll play squads no fill. Fuck it. However, a girl spawns in behind him and tells him it's time to go. Boss said so. Her name is Tony. She's not a kid. She's 27. Just putting that out there. So the two jump into a portal, they close the lid, and the portal disappears. Then we get a really emotional scene of Gris lying down, suffering from his wounds, and Rudo coming over and apologizing to him for not being able to save him and destroying his talisman and such. We get some sad piano going. Gris gets out his few last words before the camera slowly zooms out. And rest in peace, Gris. He was a great man. I did not talk much about him, but if you watch the show, he's a good guy. He can rest now. So he can wake back up feeling fresh tomorrow and get back to work, baby, let's go. So this girl, Aisha Stilza, she came in clutch. She's the only cleaner with a healing power. Then Rudo meets the boss. The guy welcomes him and he gives him a bit of information on how to return to the sphere. And he explains that there's a border between the sphere and the ground, and most people end up dying crossing the border. So he's fucked. Except he's not that fucked, because there's a woman who lives in No Man's Land, the place where Rudo spawned in, and she happens to be very close to the border, and she says she's seen people make it out alive. So that's his next mission: find the woman, get information, and yeah. So then Riyo shows Rudo around the HQ. They walk, they talk, they look, then walk and look and talk and look and walk and talk. Also Zanka's back, that's pretty cool. And Rudo gets a little training arc where he tests things out with his vital instruments, seeing which items he's able to bring out their full potential, and turns out he's only able to use them on trash. And lucky for him, there's a fuck ton of those around here. And all this was discovered by Zanka. Just have to put it out there, I've been seeing some Zanka slanders here and there, which is pretty crazy considering he introduced himself to be the mediocre guy. I'm mid, I'm a 5 out of 10, I'm ass, leave me alone, and somehow he's catching a bit of shit. But anyway, this show got some really nice, goofy expressions, so I'm a big fan of that. Rio's also really goofy. At first I thought she's a cool, calm, collected kind of person, but she's pretty silly, she just happens to look cool. Now Rudo still can't use much of his power, otherwise he gets a nosebleed. Then we see the Raider's boss, he's allergic to lights, and is talking about a collection of vital instruments known as the Watchman series, and his coat has the same symbol as the one on Rudo's gloves. Alright, from this point onwards, I have not recorded any parts, so I'm going to sound like I'm dying for the rest of the video. Don't get sick, people, and have a good Christmas. So then we get some character interactions, like Riyo suddenly appearing in Rudo's bed. Our boy got so surprised he damn near had a stroke, but he looks at some cheeks to calm himself. Now for this mission, their team is super stacked. It's a combination of two teams, Akuta and Eager. So Akuta includes Zanka, Riyo, Enjin, Rudo, same crew, and from Eager, there are Tamsi and Delman. And a few more supporters, absolute banger Tomei. However, before going to No Man's Land to find the girl, they have to go to Canvas Town to meet a certain artist so that person can cast a defensive spell on them because No Man's Land is rough. You could walk around and explode at any moment. So they all hop into one car, they all fit, they arrive at the city, walks into the place, obviously it has a bunch of graffiti. Then they walk to the guy's place and the artist is dead. R.I.P. Gob. He was at the HQ a few episodes earlier painting the walls and stuff. Instead, we got Remlin, the successor of Gob. And these two were like siblings, so as you would imagine, Remlin is sad, unhappy, tears running down the kid's face, but Remlin decides to stop being sad and instead lock in. Kid's gotta carry on Gob's legacy and not let AI take over. So the kid gets up, picks up the pen, and starts drawing. So Remlin draws on their backs to cast a spell that reduces damage from 1 major hit. That way, if they're ever caught lacking, they won't die. So step 1, complete, they all hop back into the car and drive back to the base to retrieve Rudo's full face mask. He meets the maker of his mask, and the guy appears to be running on 3 gallons of Red Bull and lots of crack. High energy, high octane, hip hip hooray, fuck yeah kind of guy. And he also has a sister, who's Aisha, the healer. And she's the complete opposite of all the crazy shit he's on. So now they can go on their mission, and since walkie-talkies and radios don't exist, they have these collars as communication tools, and they have to add a drop of their blood to connect with others. Now they're in the same voice channel. So now they're off, they made it to no man's land, and trash beasts appear, and we see Rudo's full face mask design. Pretty cool stuff. The colors are a bit too bright for my liking. But anyway, the cleaners get to show off their cool moves against the trash beast. Riyo's flying, flipping around, and she comes down like an asteroid, slicing the crab to pieces. Riyo's always looking cool as fuck. Then we switch over to Zanka, and now it's his turn to start eating ass. And his full face mask is actually pretty cool. Honestly, everyone's full face is pretty cool. Aside from Enjin, he just looks bald. He needs his hair back, his head is simply too round. Well, actually, it does look fine here. Never mind, it's not that bad. So Zanka blocks, dodges a couple attacks from the beast, then he ducks to Scorpion's tail, sticks his staff into its mouth, and spikes spawn out of his weapon, killing it. And now it's Enjin's turn to crush some balls, so he flies down like a rocket, pretty much the same move we've seen him use. But can't blame him, I'd spam that shit too, because he just wipes out the whole area with it. All the crabs are looking up like, quick, make a wish. Made sure to hold that pose for the camera. And now it's our boy Rudo's turn to cook the last crab. He dodges the tail, pulls out his trash keyboard from his pocket, brings out its full potential, red switch and all, starts typing down a crazy offensive slur, and I really like how he's pressing down on these keys with both of his index fingers like he's a DJ at a nightclub. One Punch Man's gonna be real proud. Then he presses enter, and all the keys fly up and slam onto the crab's head. And if you're wondering what that says, it says like and subscribe. Fuck yeah. And the keyboard turns to dust, it has fulfilled its duty. And all of a sudden, a girl appears from the dust. Her name is Amo, the girl they're looking for. And she's not suspicious at all, just appears out of thin air, zero mask, sniffing up all sorts of shit and invites them to her place so they can talk without their masks. Yeah, she definitely seems suspicious, but we all can go. If she's plotting something and piss comes to poop, I'll just take care of her. You sure? Yeah, I can hold back the best. Enjin did not hold back shit, he's only holding back his own team. So an hour earlier, before Enjin drowns in his own drool, they all made their way to Amo's place, which is this really tall tower. And this whole place is super sketchy and scary, look at those stairs, dear god. So finally, they made their way to the top where Amo's room is. They all took off their masks because she said it's perfectly safe, don't worry. She's super excited to see their faces, and Rudo dives straight to the shit. I'm looking for someone who can travel between the ground and the sphere. The of pure confusion and regret. We are gonna be here for quite a bit. Zanka and Tamsi knew right away they're entering the unskippable cutscene of doom. So obviously, Amo's very crazy, extremely broken, fixable or not, I'd say so, she's not the worst. So Amo goes, I love strong smell, and she likes the big dude in the back the most. And the size doesn't matter. So Enjin goes, alright, if romance talk is the price to pay for information, then they'll play along. And hearing this, Amo starts tweaking. She goes absolutely insane, saying everyone just wants to use her. Rudo just pisses pants a little, all those stairs just to deal with some bullshit. Meanwhile, Tomei's locked the fuck in, making sure she gets all the information. Every word that comes out of Amo's mouth is going straight to her notes. Okay, I apologize. I love girls. My type is girls with arms and legs. Do you have arms and legs? You appear to do. I do like you too now. This did not go well. Amo hates Enjin now. So he goes, alright, I'm just gonna start saying shit. So he asks her to cover up a little as it's hard to concentrate here. I see what he did there. Great usage of words. But saying that was a massive mistake. Telling a woman how she should dress is straight up barbaric in this day and age. That is speed running getting under her skin. She is super pissed, so she instantly uses her vital instrument. And Rudo notices that her boots have the same symbol as the ones on his gloves. Then all of a sudden, the big dude blew Enjin's back out. So everyone's freaking out, what just happened? And Amo continues yapping about romance stuff, so Zanka says, shut up and talk to my ass. Amo starts crying, and then big dude reacts again. He goes in to crush Zanka, but he's able to avoid it, and Delman goes over to Amo's side to protect her. Then his eyes go back to normal, and first time watching this, for a second there I actually thought dude just switched sides. He saw Amo and instantly had two reasons to protect her. But no, it's her vital instrument. Her boots let out a smell, and anyone who gets a sniff of the smell of her feet, they'll imagine Amo as their loved one. So when they think they're protecting their loved one, it's actually them just protecting her. And now Rudo gets caught lacking. His friend starts appearing to him as apostles, and he sees Amo as his childhood crush. Meanwhile, Zanka and Tamsi are locked in. They got their masks on fast and quick, and they're going in to put her down and cancel her spell. But at the very last moment, Rudo comes in to stop the two. Crazy shit is happening. Rudo's doing all that for the girl who turned on him. At first I thought he was chilling because that's the girl who he doesn't care about anymore and he's very angry at her for turning on him, but it appears I'm wrong. Turns out Amo's boots have some crazy unimaginable smell that is just irresistible. And now Riyo has also been mind controlled by her scent, so it's these two against everyone else. Well, the two supporters, Chris and Tomei, are still around, but Folo's gone. He too is gonna start gooning. And the supporters can't do much in these kinds of fights anyway. However, that won't be a problem. Just look at these two standing there. They know what they're doing. So Tamsi pulls out his vital instrument, and these things are called jinkies in Japanese. I don't know how I'm just finding this out. I must have been watching the show on mute up until now, but that's pretty cool, and everything sounds better in Japanese.
Merry Christmas.
So I'm going to be calling them jinkies from now on. It's also much shorter. So they all jump in on the two. Tamsi uses his jinky, it spins around, throwing out ropes, catching everyone, and they all get tied up. Amo is in a state of confusion, what the fuck just happened? Then he spins his jinky, pulling his rope back to the same place, so everyone gets dragged in, and they all become one giant meatball. And also, Amo's now caught upside down. Tamsi just locked the fuck in, soloed the mission in about 2 minutes. Zanka didn't get a chance to do a single thing. They were standing side by side earlier like we were about to see a generational duo performance, only for Zanka to end up as a spectator. So Amo gets hung upside down and wow. That is a crazy build. Then suddenly, she starts crying and screaming for help, and everyone trapped in that ball goes even crazier, trying to break free, just brute forcing their way through the ropes, wieners getting crushed, nutsacks getting split, no one's giving a fuck. So Tamsi goes, alright, if you want to go to Amo so bad, be my guest. So he undoes his rope ball at such an intense speed, the whole thing basically transforms into a giant drill, and it just completely annihilates Amo's house. She's going homeless. That shit flies through every single thing imaginable until it eventually stops at the bottom. And seeing the massive mess, Zanka's like, holy shit Tamsi, you just executed our entire team, what the fuck was that about? This is not part of the plan. And the one person, the one target we had to take care of, she's still up there, she's chilling, she's laughing, she's smiling, she's having a great time going hip hip hooray. What the fuck did you just do? However, Tamsi then reminds Zanka that they cast that spell earlier, the one from Canvas Town. The one that reduces damage from one hit. Remlin came in clutch, Tamsi did not go rogue. So all their wounds heal, and Enjin also gets back up and he takes away one of her boots. That shit was not slick, Enjin. We all know damn well the first thought that came to mind from that angle was not about socks. But he is right, raw dogging your boots like that, zero protection, is pretty fucked up. That shit's pretty diabolical. So Amo goes in to grab her boot back, but now she's just a normal girl, so Enjin doesn't allow that. He can pretty much just push her away with one hand. And then Enjin gets possessed by the spirit of feet enjoyers, and all of a sudden he goes in to sniff her boot. I actually don't know why he did that, but he damn near met God. Not because he's an elite gooner and he loves the smell of her foot grease, but because it smells like absolute ass. So Amo finally cancels her spell, everyone regroups, masks are back on, and look at Amo over here. She's actually pretty chill when she's not trying to brainwash you. Then Rudo walks up to her to get information. Never mind. And he continues to beat the socks out of her until someone finally comes in to stop him. That's not what they meant when they said they wanted equality, I think. But Rudo just said, fuck it, these hands are for everyone, they're not gender specific. So Enjin tells him, now we're fucked, we're not getting any information, everyone almost died, this whole trip was a waste. So he takes Rudo somewhere private to have a little talk to calm him down.
いい女が好きなんだよ。
は？俺より賢くてナイスバディでエロい。包容力のあるいい女が大好きでな。たまんねえのよ。
Yep, very relatable. Love that from Enjin. W Enjin. Type 1 in the chat if you agree. Type 2 if you like anime girls who can just straight up kill you. So Rudo's now calm and he's about to go back to apologize to her. And luckily, Amo's still alive, just heavily injured. Then Tomei tries to cheer her up, saying she loves to talk about romance stuff too, so if she wants to talk about it, she can always talk to her. And Amo tells her that she'd make a good mom, and that her mom was also a good mom. Top 5 biggest lie of all time. And now Amo's actually just super chill. After getting her head pounded with a couple punches, she's pretty normal now. So the main takeaway is, violence is always the answer. Solve your problems with your fist. As a matter of fact, you can even solve others' problems with your fist. Amo is now less crazy, all thanks to Rudo. So keep that in mind. Then we get a really sad backstory from Amo. So young Amo is a normal, innocent, wholesome girl until her fuck-ass mother decided to sell her to this old guy. And judging from the environment, the way this guy dresses, bad signs. And Amo's mom tells her that this guy will love her and care for her forever. Amo, being a kid, believes this, and the animation changes to these little doodles, which is really well done. So we're seeing things from Amo's point of view. She's a kid, she has no idea what's going on, thinks it's a good thing. So old dude takes her back to his place, which is the tower she's currently living in. And just look at this dude's face. He's a fucking pedophile. Bad shit happens, he does some vile shit, and he tells her, this is what love is. And just look at his fuck-ass face. His existence is the reason his parents are burning in hell right now. And Amo, since she's been in this place for God knows how long, not meeting anyone else aside from this fucking creep, she believes everything he says. But then one day, the masked dude breaks in, so the guy's gonna fight him with his jinky, which is the boots. But one of them instantly rushes in and delivers a clean left straight to the jaw. His head damn near did a 180. And dude's on his ass looking at the ceiling. You love to see it. Then the two people take his boots and hand them over to Amo, saying these will suit her better. Then the guy grows wings and flies away. And I just want to say I accidentally found out who the guy behind the mask is because I got spoiled by an edit on Instagram. It's the dude flying and all of a sudden it transitions to an edit of another character, so I'm like, hold on. What the fuck? But anyway, so those are the people Amo's talking about, the ones who can go between the ground and the sphere, and she refers to them as angels. Then old dude gets back up and starts hitting her for taking his boots. However, Amo says, fuck you, the angels earlier said these suit me better and they don't belong with your ugly ass. And the boots are responding to her emotions. And the two start fighting over the jinky for a bit. Left kick, fuck you old bitch, chomps down on his arm and shit starts getting intense. And then Amo channels her inner strength and goes for a crazy tackle, pushing him out the tower. Double thumbs up, one step closer to a better world. Then Amo slowly realizes her mother's a bitch, old dude's weird as shit, even the other traffickers don't like him. The traffickers community doesn't even accept him. That is a crazy low, Amo is doing him a favor killing him. And all of this is clicking for her because of the boots. They made her heart human, and she now sees the truth. However, Amo chooses to ignore reality to cope with the tragedy. So her whole life she's been used, which is why she got so mad at the cleaners at the very beginning, because they're just trying to get information and leave. Then she draws the face of the angel. Rudo immediately recognizes the mask. That's the same guy that killed Recto. But before that, he's here to apologize. But she says, no, it's fine, I fucked up, you fucked up, it's okay. And she says, we're kind of the same, we're two balls in the same sack, we had to go through a bunch of horrible stuff and their jinkies are what helped them through those tough times. And Amo explains that she's been scared and lonely and she's been waiting for someone to come for her. So Rudo reaches out his hand so the two can help each other overcome whatever the fuck that's coming their way. Very nice stuff. Amo might have almost wiped out the cleaners and put them out of business, but she's really chill. It's a simple misunderstanding. Awesome stuff. Now Amo's going to join the team. Wait, what is she doing? So Amo is staying behind for a bit to take care of some things, and they give her one of those communication devices. However, immediately after they leave, Jabber appears behind her. Man was just hiding around the corner waiting like Jogo waiting for Toji to leave so he can come in and take her boots. God damn it. Fuck this Jabber guy, he can go back and stick more claws down his urethra. Fuck him. We're going to need to assemble a rescue team ASAP. And then we see the Raiders boss, and he gets up and he's ready to make his move. And this is where the pace of the show starts getting picked up. The crew drives back to base, Enjin's driving like an absolute madman, like they're on a roller coaster, had the car flying and shit like Dominic Toretto's behind the wheel. But I mean, from the way it drifted into Canvas Town a couple episodes back, it's safe to say we're in good hands. And how the fuck is Delman sitting like that? His left shoulder is gonna be compressed to the max, that shit's gonna be paper thin by now. Then Mori Calliope kicks down the door for the second opening. Pretty cool stuff. I was pretty neutral on the song at first, but after listening to it a couple times, it's actually pretty good. So they make a pit stop at the city, meet the doctor, who's the grandma of the dude who makes masks, and of course, Aisha is there, the sister. They all get checked up, everyone's fine, no holes in anyone's body, and on their way back, Semi gives them a call telling them to go around the back. Turns out their HQ is being raided by marauders, not to be confused with raiders, these guys are just random criminals, they're pretty ass, and they're here for Rudo. And they try to blow up the building. But it does absolutely nothing, because those guys need permission from this guy to break the building. And they're not getting that permission anytime soon. So then Semi walks out to take care of him, and off rip, dude fires a whole ass RPG at her. But she uses her Jinky, which is her glasses, and everything goes into slow motion. She slowly grabs the rocket, and just chucks it back at them. These guys are in for a serious ass beating session. Semi dodges all the bullets raining at her, hands behind the back, gets up close, stares them down, and beats the fuck out of them. Nice little side quest completed. Then the cleaners go out to grab some food, Enjin looks faded as fuck, Rudo is tweaking, and what in God's name are they eating? I get it, the ground is trash and all, but I didn't think there were actually nightmarish creatures roaming around for them to eat. Then Rudo asked them about Semi because she seems so strong, so why doesn't she ever come out and fight trash beasts? So they explain to him that her Jinky is turbo broken, however, it doesn't work against trash beasts, which is why she's a receptionist and just sits at the HQ. Also, if there are any manga enjoyers, do let me know if there are any more panels of her with her hair down. Then we meet another team, Team Child. There's Gita, she's super chill, she actually already appeared in one of the earlier episodes, standing in the background, looking all cozy in her onesie. And there's Deer, Rudo's worst nightmare, and lastly, their supervisor, Bro Santa. So the team looks like an absolute troll, they all look like they're just here to fuck around and just have a great time, but trust me, they will cook. And then, all of a sudden, one of the customers reveals himself to be the leader of the raiders, right in front of Rudo, and he has Amo's boots. Rudo immediately goes in to punch him, but Katoni opens up a portal behind him, sucking the both of them in, so everyone else quickly jumps in to help Rudo, but they all end up getting sucked into the portal. They all get teleported to this random place, and they meet the rest of the raiders. And holy shit, we're about to get a crazy showdown, super chaotic team fight coming right up. But it all gets interrupted by trash diarrhea showering down on them, and Rudo just gets yoinked away from the crew. And everyone gets separated, they're being carried away to different places, so everyone who entered the portal coming after Rudo to save him is as useful as nipples on a man, because now Rudo is stuck in a 1v5 situation. Luckily, 4 portals open up and everyone except the boss will be taking on the other cleaners. Rudo made it, thank God, he's not gonna get jumped. However, take a look at this guy right here. Our boy Rudo can throw a bit of hands, but he is not beating this grown-ass man. His voice can one-shot Rudo.
Zodyl Yaphoon.
Fully grown, hairy-ass man went through 2 divorces fighting a literal 90-pound 15-year-old with anger issues. Something tells me Rudo does not have this. This guy's name is Zodyl
Yaphoon.
and he actually kidnapped Rudo to ask him if he'd want to take down the sphere with him. Rudo's taken aback, but more importantly, where's Amo? He asks calmly. However, Zodyl's not a fan of answering questions and he tells Rudo to stop fucking around and lock in. He tells him joining the cleaners and doing all these things won't help you find your way back up to the sphere because that's not what they specialize in. You call the cleaners when you're dealing with trash beasts, you don't call the cleaners when you're trying to get up to the sphere. Unfortunately, he's spitting. Then we see who the other cleaners are going up against. Riyo's going up against this girl, Enjin's fighting this guy, Dear Santa and Bro Santa are going up against this dude, Amazing parenting from bro, never leaving a child unattended. Trash flood won't stop him from being responsible. Take notes, anime dads out there. That is if they haven't already left. And of course, Zanka's gonna have to run it back with Jabber. And these two wasted no time, they're mega horny and got straight to it. Zanka saw this guy and he knew he had to even the score. Last fight wasn't fair, he got ambushed, he was in a vulnerable state, he was feeling empathy for the two poor raiders for thinking they had a chance of winning against him. Jabber basically struck a man in a wheelchair. Now this is the real fight. Jabber goes in to gouge his eyes out, but Zanka parries it. Then the two start going crazy, a bunch of stuff's happening. Zanka steps back to swipe, parries the second attack, then Jabber goes for a crazy right, Zanka blocks it, then he goes in to stab him, but Jabber flips over, and this is a bad situation for Zanka. One swipe and it's over. That poison's gonna fuck him like a sex doll. Jabber pulls his left arm back and tries to stick his claws in Zanka's chocolate tunnel. Luckily, he's able to block it at the very last moment. Then Jabber does a couple flips to dodge Zanka's attacks, hits one of his emotes. Then he notices the bubbly green sauce next to him and decides to fuck around. Jabber learns what boiling means. However, instead of damaging him, this actually gave him another buff because now his left claws are coated in Shrek's baby batter. And he splashes Zanka with it. And here's Riyo getting scared by a cockroach. Very valid reaction because once that motherfucker starts flying, that has to be top 5 scariest things on this planet. And back to Zanka. He took a bit of damage, nothing lethal, and he decides to table flip the fucking ground with the green jizz over onto Jabber's face. Jabber of course stares at it with gratitude, he probably had several orgasms in that moment, and he gets flattened. And Zanka knows the deal, he won't get caught slipping because even after all that destruction, after him literally table flipping the ground onto Jabber's face, he knows Jabber's sneaky ass is not dead. And he's not wrong, because Jabber breaks out of the rocks and he gets another massive buff. Who would have thought? The sky's blue, grass is green, pineapple makes your cum sweet. No way. His claws are now fully erect and he pulls out the classic, "Ah ha ha ha. It's been so long since someone's been able to make me bring out my Riyo strength." Whoa! And look at Zanka, even he knows this is a fat load of bullshit. So anyone who says Zanka is ass for losing, we must not be watching the same show, because man has a stick going up against this unholy creature that does whatever the fuck it wants. Now let's switch over to Riyo. She goes in on her opponent and she's able to slice off a bit of her hair, and Riyo thinks it's all fun and games. She's going up against her opponent who fights with her hair and she has a pair of scissors. This is the best possible matchup she could ask for. God bless her. She goes in again to deal more damage, and in the next scene she's on the floor. So the girl has the ability to charge her hair with electricity, shocking anyone who touches it. Now it's rough. She's no longer countering, she's now getting countered. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but most cleaners are ass when it comes to fighting people because they mainly fight trash beasts. Just putting that one out there on the excuse shelf in case any of them ever lose, they can always pull out that card. Now we move over to Bro Santa and Dear Santa. So this guy can spawn whatever those are, and he asks the two for information on their boss. And he doesn't even ask important questions, he's just asking generic things like, what's his favorite color, his favorite food, is he a sweets guy, is he a bidet user, does he shit in the shower, you know, just very random things. Then after a few more questions, Deer starts twitching. He's getting sick of this guy. He has better things to be doing, as to be in bed by 6:30, listen to his favorite bedtime story for 30 minutes and sleep at exactly 7, TikTok, get your shit over with, mister. Meanwhile, Jabber is still tweaking. We'll check back on him in a bit. So Zodyl explains to Rudo that he's interested in him not because he's gay, but because Jabber told him that they have the same smell and look in their eyes, despite him being a groundling and Rudo is spherite. A pretty wild coincidence, but knowing Jabber, you'll probably think he's just spewing a bunch of bullshit. However, Zodyl says, that guy, he may be crazy and is a crackhead, but he's perceptive. That did just happen. Zodyl just fucked up that cockroach with his mouth. Very appealing to the eyeballs, crazy crunch. Overall experience, I'll give it a solid 0 out of 10. That shit was fucking disgusting. Then he starts talking about his shock system, something he tried to give us the audience a first-hand experience of. But basically it's when you witness something so shocking, you decide to lock in and bring out your full potential. Like how most anime you have to overcome near-death situations to become stronger, this is that in this verse. And Zanka's locking in, is pumped up to fight a stronger opponent because beating a natural talent as a mediocrity is just super satisfying. His dick is getting hard thinking about it. So then Jabber slams down on him, Zanka starts hitting away a bunch of rocks in a really cool sequence, and he accidentally hits his victory pose mid-fight. So seeing that Zanka's stuck in his victory animation, Jabber quickly takes advantage of it and tries to catch him with his pants down, but Zanka barely dodges it. Would have been a real horrific scene if that hit. And sneaky little Jabber is utilizing the smoke to the fullest. He pops up behind him, luckily he blocks it and makes his way out of the smoke. Then Jabber says, fuck it, let me just transform myself into a natural disaster, I'm becoming a tornado, because why the fuck not, my name's Jabber, I do whatever the fuck I want. So Zanka's holding on for dear life until he eventually gets pushed back. And what is even going on? Man is just doing anything at this point. So now it's time for Zanka to also get his power up. And by power up, I mean sick animation. Because we get this incredibly hard scene of Zanka just spinning his staff around. Then he runs in at him. Man versus tornado. Man versus nature. He's going to teach Mother Nature a lesson. He goes for a swing, but Jabber hits him with a jump scare and drop kicks him. However, Zanka is unfazed. He eats that shit for breakfast. He tanks it, is what I'd like to say. He's spitting hella blood. And he gets sent flying. Then Jabber limits his movement with his big claws and goes in to finish him with a strike to his face. However, Zanka chomps down on his claws and he stabs his ribs with his staff, gets a Mortal Kombat X-ray making sure that shit's broken, and he goes for a back fist in the exact same spot as a big eat shit, sending him flying. Then he spins around for a bit, goes for a kick to push Jabber down into the green goo. However, he dodges it, but that's no problem for Zanka. He spins around his staff and still lands the kick. But just as Jabber's about to fall, he scratches his leg. He's fucking cooked. And Jabber didn't even fall. It's not a trade. So now Zanka's been infected by 18,000 toxins and all sorts of STDs, he can't move, and Jabber just stabs him, and the light in his eyes goes out. Then in the next episode, we start with a flashback. So Zanka's at this place called the Central Hellguard Academy, place where people learn to join the Hellguard, and the Hellguard's basically law enforcement in this world, and Zanka's the goat around here. Everyone praises him, he's far stronger than the others, and he acts like it. Others think he's one of those natural talents that mediocre dudes like them can't ever catch up to. But in reality, he sucks farts. He's just been grinding like a motherfucker to get to where he is. Which is why he acts like he's different from others, because unlike most of these guys, he actually put his blood, sweat, and tear to make it this far. And he plans to graduate at the top of his class. And then the teacher in their class explains that giver crime rates have gone up, so this year they decided to accept a new, promising student to the class. Her name is Riyo, and I don't know what you call that hairstyle, but that reminds me of Lucy from Cyberpunk. And Lucy from Cyberpunk fucks ass, so she's most definitely going to be fucking asses. And in her first sparring session, she beats the fuck out of everyone. Even Zanka got his ass whooped. And while everyone's coping with their embarrassing defeat, saying they only lost because they only had 7 hours of sleep last night, they were holding in their piss during the fight, their shoelace came off, Zanka's about to fucking freak out. Just take a look at this man's face. That is the face of eternal doom and despair. That is the face of a man who finally took his meds and his girlfriend of 8 years who he's about to marry disappears. Man went through the 5 stages of grief back to back to back in an instant. But he plays it cool. Oh wow, she sure is strong. That was a tough one. Guess that's more training for good old Zanka. He is about to unleash a catastrophe in his underwear and end it all. Then we get some highlights from the sparring match, highlights of Zanka getting clapped. So the two go back and forth for a bit, but as the fight goes on, shit starts getting intense. She hits him a couple times with a wooden knife, Zanka's still able to hold on for a bit, but eventually she snaps his staff in half. Zanka can't believe this shit, had that man looking up like Willem Dafoe. So she caught him, won the spar flawlessly, and now is about to commit war crimes. His goal to get that golden throne, be the top student, disappeared. Then Riyo appears, so Zanka pretends like everything's fine, 2 thumbs up, good game, well played, a little pat on the back, I don't feel like swinging around with a rope around my neck. Then the two talk for a bit, and Riyo doesn't understand why anyone would want to sit on the golden throne, be the top student of the class, what's so important, what's so special about that? Just so others could see how impressive they are? Those stuff doesn't interest her. And now Riyo's the top of the class, Zanka has been dethroned, then their class gets to pick a weapon as a part of their training. And Zanka thinks there's definitely some reverse psychology shenanigans going on here, so he's going to think outside the box like a true genius. So he went with the stick. And now he's sitting in despair at the bottom of a well. Turns out the stick was simply added in by mistake. That weapon looks like ass because it is ass. It's not a gem covered in shit. It's shit covered in shit. Damn, Riyo didn't just defeat Zanka, looks like his brain cells got defeated too. and Riyo gets herself a sexy katana. And after that incident, Zanka has been chilling in the well for the past 3 days, and then Enjin and Riyo come across the well, so they start listening to the story of this random guy at the bottom of the well, and right now Zanka's at an all-time low, physically and mentally, saying he's just a fake-ass poser pretending to be a natural talent when in reality he sucks crazy ass. But Enjin says that a mediocrity can still outgrow a natural talent, and he continues saying that I'd like to see you prove one day that the average can eclipse the gifted. And right in that moment, from the depths of hopelessness and sorrow, a hand rose from the pit, and we're back to the present. Zanka rises. It's not over. The music starts going crazy in my earballs. He extends his left arm, calling forth his assist staff. It answers his call and flies straight into his hand, snapping in place like the last piece of the puzzle. As long as he's still standing, this fight is not over. He's bleeding, he's paining, but he will not falter. He's going to prove to the world that hard work beats talent. They gotta cut this shit. This is nightmarish PR. Jesus fucking Christ. This is terrible looks. All that was a massive hallucination. In reality, Jabber's hitting him with all the fucking Fortnite emotes from his inventory, and Zanka is just lying there, drooling relentlessly, getting his get back in his dreams. This is some embarrassing shit. I did not expect this. I was watching it weekly and I was like, okay, there's no way Zanka's gonna go out like that. Next week's episode is gonna start off with a flashback. Zanka's gonna get up, he's gonna beat the fuck out of Jabber. Jabber's gonna be crying for his mommy's milk, and then he'll win the fight, even the score 1-1. But no. We did get the flashback, we did get the get up, but I do not see tears coming out of Jabber's eyes. Meanwhile, over at Gita's place, she was going through tunnels, having fun with a cockroach, and ends up finding this giant ball thing. And Jabber is dragging Zanka to his goon cave, and he's going to offer him to the trash beast, and he's having a blast just laughing his ass off. But then, from the darkness, a bullet flies out of nowhere and goes through his leg. Then we cut to Enjin with this guy. The two haven't started their fight, not a single thing happened, so this guy is a shy, low self-esteem pussy character, seems useless, but then, we all know once shit goes down, he'll be insanely strong. Probably. So the guy's freaking out because he has to finish his fight quick, but he doesn't know how to start a fight, so he suggests Enjin punch him first, but Enjin says, no, I don't think I'll be doing that. Then we move a few minutes back to see Riyo's fight with NOOOO, probably butchered that name, just killed her right there. So she swings her hair around like an electric whip. Riyo repositions and said, fuck this, I'm out. So NOOOO chases after her, and she starts getting pissed, running around. She damn near went Super Saiyan. So Riyo's just lurking, waiting for the electricity on her hair to eventually run out, and she comes in from above, snips her hair, but she dodges it and spins back with a kick. Riyo somehow manages to fall upside down after blocking that kick, and she charges up her elbow and slams it into her body. Riyo got hit by an absolute cannon, and now she's spitting hella blood. And turns out NOOOO can just control her hair, which is why she's able to dodge the snip earlier. But luckily for Riyo, her electric hair only lasts for 2 minutes. So now she can get up close. So NOOOO goes in with the 1-2, trying to stab Riyo with her bare hands, but Riyo is unfazed. Then she kicks her away, and she quickly follows it up with a right. Riyo dodges, right kick barely misses, but NOOOO quickly spins and hits her with a back kick, and she continues to drop more combos, but Rio's just chilling, dodging every single one of them. She's smiling, she's talking to her, she's super unbothered. Until NOOOO dashes in, decides to charge up a Kamehameha and unleashes it on her scissors. So Riyo says, alright, let me put this back in my inventory, and she equips her hands. So the two go in, Riyo blocks the left elbow, left hand cancels each other, but NOOOO slaps it away and sends Riyo flying with her left knee. So Rio's on the defensive end, dodging these blows, while NOOOO is just hitting fucking anything in sight. Mirrors, teddy bears, honkers on a wall, or even mannequins are not safe, they can have all the smoke. And now Riyo starts punching back, and the two go absolutely insane. A lot of punches being thrown and a lot of blocks coming in, but no significant damage being done. Left hand from NOOOO gets grabbed, then she goes with a right and an immediate left. Riyo says, get that shit away from me. And she hits her back with a right. Then NOOOO goes for a dirty play. She tries to go for the tit grab twist technique. Riyo doesn't allow that though, and double hand to block the left. Both uppercuts slide off each other. Riyo immediately follows it up with a kick and spins around, throwing out a straight right, but she forgets she's on Reed Richards and her reach isn't that crazy. And she goes with a left, but gets blocked off. Then the two trade blows to the face, but they're not done. They immediately go back in and we get the kick-to-kick action. And after, Riyo goes low, charges up her right hand from the fucking knee, fists her clean in the face, got her feeling a little dizzy. But Nierde's not just gonna let that happen, she's in the Christmas spirit and feels like giving back. So a right hand is immediately gifted to Rio's face. Jesus Christ, that is one real violent ass punch. She punched her so hard her body flipped upside down. Riyo tasted the floor and flew off the damn screen. That was a full blown black flash. And now Nierde's electric hair is back, so Riyo jumps up to avoid it, pulls out her scissors and tosses it at her. She dodges it, but that's fine, it works as a good smokescreen. Jumping right kick gets blocked, she blocks the right, and Nierde kicks her away. But the two are nowhere near done, so they go back in. Cameraman starts getting drunk from the sheer amount of action we're getting, so he starts filming God knows what. He gets fired, new guy pulls up, takes over, a little wobbly on his first day, but at least we do get to see Nierde flying into a building at the corner of our screens. And now the two are in rough shape. Rio's a little worse. She took a bunch of damage, but she still has her trump card hidden. And this is probably the last thing I expected her to pull out. She saw that the situation was dire, looked around, made sure no one's around or close enough to hear her, and said, fuck it. Try shucking these bullets.
What?
She just fucking shot her. Enough with the hands, try these instead. Bang bang bang. Nice and easy. Nierde really brought hair to a gunfight. Then we learned that Enjin doesn't allow Riyo to kill people. But unfortunately, Nierde's a tough opponent, so she had to get a little help. So before joining the cleaners, Rio's actually an assassin, which is why she has a gun. Honestly, Riyo just keeps getting cooler and cooler, easily my favorite character in the show. And she doesn't fully kill her, she just leaves her there, then she changes her hairstyle, and she goes through the tunnels to find the others. And that brings us to the present, where Jabra gets shot in the leg. And this right here is why Rio's the GOAT. She pulled up on Jabber, and not a single word left her mouth, only bullets leaving the barrel. She absolutely bodied him, shot him a total of 8 fucking times, and she was over here talking about how she can't kill people. Well, Jabber's booty cheeks is definitely not walking that one off. Although I'm sure he's gonna live because... Jabber. Anyway, so Riyo takes Zanka with her, thankfully he's saved. Meanwhile, over at Rudo's place, he's still talking with Zodyl. And Tony comes in and gives Zodyl an update on the other's situation. Then she opens a portal under Rudo's feet and pulls him down to the room where Gita is. And Zodyl places the boots onto the giant ball and it gets a massive energy boost because it's a Jinky from the Watchman series. And these objects from the Watchman series have existed far longer than any other Jinkies, therefore they're rare items. They contain more energy and are far superior than the others. And Zodyl had tried to create another Jinky just as strong, but he couldn't do it, and instead learned how to create a trash beast from a Jinky. So now he's building a trash beast that can fly them to the sphere. Rudo can't believe the words that are coming out of his mouth, he is just extremely confused. And if that's the case, why does Recto have the gloves? Rudo asked. And Zodyl says, that's a great fucking question. Why would a spherite have such a powerful item in their hands when they don't even know about the existence of Jinkies? Then he reveals that right now they are inside a giant trash beast, and this is their trip to the sphere. Except it's a test run. He has no idea if it's going to work since they'll have to cross the border and everyone might just fucking die doing that. So after hearing about this crazy maniacal plan, Gita, who was hiding earlier, had to reveal herself in this concerning situation. She must have missed the crossing the border part. Then the whole place starts shaking like crazy because the monster is about to take off, and Enjin and this dude have gone nowhere. The guy doesn't know how to start a fight, Enjin is not interested in fighting, he just wants to find his team. So nothing's happening, the guy's just crying and whining. Enjin can't believe this is the same dude who defeated Upper Moon 6, he saw it happen in theaters. So Enjin tells him he won't fight him until he finds his teammates. So immediately the guy tells Enjin that they're in a trash beast, so if he wants to find his teammates, he just has to break his way through. Enjin gets a little shocked learning about this, and once the other cleaners realize they're in a trash beast, they all started picking up the pace. They heard those 2 words and they were activated like a sleeper agent. Bro and Deer pull out their Jinky. Bro has a cloth and Deer's binky grew fangs. Bro ties up the little monster like a guard dog. Then he swings him, launching the little guy across the place at an insane speed so he can break through the place. Deer's punches forgot to do damage. So the guy Bundas tells Bro to wake Deer up to reality. Life isn't binkies and candies, it's full of misery. One day you're going to need to find a job that'll repeatedly fuck your anus, pay you in spits, and have you fighting for your life on the daily, and on top of that taxes do exist. And your life and happiness will be slowly drained away until your balls are dry and lonely, so you gotta stop spoiling him and make sure he's ready for the real world. This is toxic delusion. But as he continues punching, Deer's doing more and more damage. So his Jinky gives him the power to drain the power of the object he hits, and the more he hits, the stronger he becomes. This has to be the most broken power out there. He can just get infinitely stronger. So he charges up his final hit and creates a massive hole in the wall. But that's not enough, not even close. And our old man's fighting back. He pulls out his Jinky, which is 6 floating arms. And also, in this world, a lot of people name their Jinkies so they can have a deeper connection with their object. That way they're able to bring out its full power. And guess what he named his Jinky? Hands. Very creative. That's like having kids and naming them son and daughter. Anyway, so he jumps up, breaking free from the banana, fuck me. But before they could start fighting, the whole place flips over, and now they're all free falling. So Bro quickly grabs Deer, making sure that little guy doesn't get lost, and Bundas jumps at them, but right as they're about to clash, a car falls on all 3 of them. Now they're sitting in a car, surrounded by objects that could crush them at any moment. And dudes over here talking about, dodge it, dodge it. Fuck you mean dodge it? We're in a car, not a spaceship. The fuck am I supposed to do? Turn the steering wheel? The wheel's not on the ground, buddy. But in a panic, Bro turns the steering wheel, but of course it doesn't do anything, the car's fucking flying. But luckily for them, this knocked the car back to the surface so they can start driving. And now if I'm in that car, Bro Santa's getting kicked out. He's gonna go back to riding a sleigh, because man is not even looking at the road. He's just blindly turning left and right. So Bunda said, let me handle this shit. But that won't help. Honestly, this entire sequence is super awesome, really entertaining, really enjoyed it, just fucking cars flying all over the map. This is probably my favorite scene in this entire season. Some real fun stuff here. And then Deer faints and the kid doesn't have his seatbelt on, so he flies out the window. Thankfully, Bunda saves him so Bro can focus on the road. But 2 problems with that. There's no road. 2, the steering wheel is no longer in the room with us. That shit's gone. I mean, we knew it wasn't doing anything earlier, but they just lost their emotional support. However, Bro notices a pole sticking out of the ground and a hole on the side. So he swings his claw to the pole, wraps it up, and uses that to turn their car so they can fly into the hole on the side. Then, as they fly in, coincidentally, they run into Enjin. They got out and quickly explained to him that they have to gather everyone and get out of here because they're trying to fly them to the border. And now Semu is able to contact Enjin through the choker, but she still can't get to the others. But Enjin says it's fine, I'll become the symbol to bring them all together, because by nature, an umbrella tends to stand out. And thank God, we are finally about to see Enjin do something, because if we're being honest, he's done fuck all these past 2 missions. People shit on Zanka for losing, but at least that guy's fighting. Enjin has been saying shit, looking cool and intimidating, and getting knocked out. 0 fights, excluding the fights with the trash beasts. But I guess this is only season 1, I'm sure he's going to have a big fight in the future, and this is a good step towards that. Meanwhile, Rudo's hanging on a piece of rock as Zodyl continues to yap. Basically, he's telling Rudo to join him and take down the sphere, shove shit in their mouths, get his revenge, leave the cleaners, they're only fighting trash beasts, your goals don't align. So stop letting them weigh you down, achieve your goal. No, bitch, those people are my friends, something you wouldn't know about. Throughout his entire life, only Recto and the cleaners have accepted him for who he is. They welcome him with open arms and never treated him like shit, even though he's a spherite. So he's going to enjoy his time with everyone. He doesn't want to be gloomy and depressed 24/7. He'll get his revenge while living his best life. A big fat middle finger in his eyeballs. Zodyl was not pleased to hear that a kid with anger issues from another world has acquired more friends than he ever could in the span of a few months. So he jumps down after him, he starts getting purple, grabs his neck, and Rudo goes, yeah bitch, look at you getting all mad because you have no friends and your breath smells like cockroach. Zodyl starts losing his cool and says, you keep bringing up friends, but there's not a single friend in sight. I'm looking around and I don't see a single damn soul. So now where are those friends you keep bringing up?
ここにいる。
Literal chills down my balls, goosebumps on my butt, crazy good entrance, and with the little outro music. It is happening, people. Holy shit. He is here. We're about to see him square up against a human being. 20 episodes in, we're getting it. Now, the 21st episode is actually cinema. When the staff list got released, everyone popped a massive boner. Everyone got super hype like it's the second coming of Christ. They went insane on this episode. A bunch of big name animators that can make any animation enthusiast bust a fat one in their pants all came together and unleashed a monster. Which is really cool, but yeah, anyway. So we cut back to Enjin before he flies to Rudo. Obviously, we can just skip this part, but Enjin's a cool ass character, definitely one of my favorites, just right below Riyo, but he doesn't really do a whole lot, so we're gonna have to go through this. Basically, he just ignores Bundas, walks off the edge, starts sliding, hand behind the back of course, then he gigantifies his umbrella, drills it into the trash beast, and Bundas is like, there's no way he just figured out where his allies are. Using what? He's just performing miracles? Then the two quickly follow him, and they're like, no, Enjin has no idea where he's going, but his bullshit is often right. So yeah, Enjin's hunch is right once again, and he has also made a path for Riyo and Zanka to get to them. And it's like, wow, you guys look like shit, guess that's what happens when you actually fight people. And Kira hit her head somewhere, so she said, might as well get some sleep. And we get a really nice goofy expression from Riyo when Enjin asks if she killed anyone. Anyway, so Rudo's like, yeah bitch, look at that, I have friends, unlike you. Zodyl? More like, no friends. So now the situation is, the trash beast is flying up to the border. High chance everyone's gonna die, not very ideal. So they have to destroy the trash beast's core before that happens. Plain and simple. Rudo pulls out his nail gun and he starts firing it towards the core. And Enjin's like, oh wow, would you look at that? That's just like a gun. More goofy Riyo expression. We're getting blessed this episode. But Rudo's nails get blocked by some prosthetic hands, and Bundas is back. And the guy's actually a raider in training, he's only a rookie. And now he's locked in. No more goofing around like last time, they're no longer sitting in a car playing around, he's going to fight them for real. And for some reason, Zodyl is just watching, he's not taking part in any of this, so it's Bundas against the cleaners. And he's cooking, none of the cleaners can get past his defense, and he's not even using all 6 of his hands. So he's a tough opponent, no one's gonna break through easily. And this is where the animation just goes plus ultra. Studio Bones got into the zone. The animation up until now is already amazing, but it gets crazy. So Rudo shoots nails at him, but Bundas punches them away. Then Riyo deflects the hand with her scissors, crosses paths with Enjin. The focus shifts over to him, and we gotta lock in and pay attention to the scene right here, it's a blessing to the eyeballs. He jumps over the fist, rolls to dodge the other hand, spins his umbrella and throws it out using it as a shield to block the punches, and he turns it into an offensive move, pushing forward to the core. However, Bundas throws out his other hand, and each hand has different functions, so this one starts spinning around and it throws out some sort of wire, and it wraps up his umbrella, halting its rotation.
Sounds of massive explosion.
That was a sick-ass sequence, but there's more. Now it's Riyo's turn. She comes in, jumps up, spins around an ungodly amount of times, I'm getting dizzy watching her. She goes for the snip-snap with her feet, but it's not working. She can't cut through it. And I just love the way Riyo maneuvers her scissors with her feet. It's actually sick as fuck. I love feet. Then we got Bro dodging for dear life, tries to wrap up one of the hands with his bandana, but it tears right through it. Bundas simply has a counter for every single one of them with each hand. Then Bro gets slapped, sending him flying across the place. And look at what they did to Deer. They got the whole squad emoting and laughing at the little guy. He tries to throw hands, but the enemy team's head movement is simply too elite. That guy's insane, it's impossible for him to hit him. And he gets hit with the right, left, good night. Put that kid straight to bed, it's past his bedtime. That's just fucked up. He needs a bit more training, he's not battlefield ready just yet. Anyway, back to Riyo with some more cool action. She goes for a back kick, spins around and slashes down, backflips to avoid the grab, throws her scissors with her legs, catches it with her leg from the back, and swings it back to the front with an upward strike. The world before, the world after. It did absolutely nothing, but damn that was a sexy sequence. Now the situation is in a dire state. No one's breaking through at this rate, they're all gonna meet their maker. So that's when Rudo decides he's had enough, it's time to pull out some crazy shit. And crazy shit did he pull. He pours all his power into his nail gun, transforming it into a giant nail gun. Bundas can't believe what he's seeing, never in his 120 years has he seen a nail gun so big in his damn life. Even Riyo is surprised Rudo's able to pull this shit out of his ass. That Enjin explains that Rudo can use up to 3 objects at the same time. However, when he does that, he's dividing his power into those objects. But right now, he's focusing all his power into one object, which is why the nail gun is about to fuck shit up. Bundas immediately uses all his hands for this one, and Rudo fires his gun. The recoil damn near destroys the trash beast. And just take a look at the animation in this scene. The nail is going absolutely crazy. I thought this shit's about to go into hyperspace and tear through reality. It flies out at an insane speed. Bunda stomps his feet, stands there, faces it head on. Man fucking explodes. But no, he's not dead, he's still hanging on, holding back the nail to the best of his ability. But it eventually slips through his hands. But another pair of hands comes in at the very final moment and grabs it. So Rudo's like, good job blocking it, but how about a second one? Second shot comes through like a wrecking ball, directly pushing the first deeper, penetrating Bundas' hands. That nail will be slipping through and finishing the job, and his hands can't handle all that pressure, so his jinky collapses. However, the nail still got deflected to the side, not hitting the core. Now it's up to the others to finish the job because Rudo's bleeding, he used too much power. But before they could destroy the core, they first gotta deal with Zodyl, who's been standing around impersonating a statue while looking like he's either about to crash the fuck out, or he's trying really hard to retract the poop that's halfway out his anus. There's really no telling what he's gonna do, it's a ticking time bomb. And he goes, alright, this mission was a success. We saw Bundas' strength, witnessed the power of Rudo's gloves, an item that's a part of the Watchman series, and they're about to fly to the border. So it's time for him to leave. Zodyl's cock is absolutely massive. Man doesn't even fight, he's just been standing around for 7 episodes, chewed on a cockroach, flew at Rudo once, leaves. Got all the information he wanted, that's all he needed. Then Bundas gets up, gathers all the broken pieces of his jinky, and just casually walks over to Zodyl and Katoni. They're just gonna let him go. He's just gonna walk away like they weren't fighting a minute ago. Little guy was getting hit with the 1-2 on the enemy's turf. I did not like watching that. That was not a pleasant experience for the eyeballs. But the cleaners don't kill people, so they just let them go, and they're only here for Rudo after all. And suddenly, Nirde flies through the ground, and she's looking like a different being.
Riyo.
Judging from her tone of voice, something tells me she doesn't like Riyo. So Nirde is going all out. Riyo realizes this, it's a serious matter, calls for serious action. She immediately puts away her scissors and pulls out the gun. No. That'll be pretty fucked up. Imagine Nirde gets an insane power-up, she's looking all fancy and scary, she rises like a phoenix and Riyo just fucking shoots her down. Anyway, Zodyl and friends enter the portal, they escape, and god damn it, we didn't get a single information on Amo's whereabouts, not ideal. And now they gotta deal with another crazy rookie. So Nirde electrocutes the entire place, everyone gets hit by it, and they get infinitely stunned. Then we cut to this dude. He's lying around, he doesn't know what to do, his team left him, he's all alone, he starts crying, and then we hear another voice speaking to him. So the guy has another personality sitting inside of him, and that guy is the real deal. He says, let me take over, and I'll get us out of here. Honestly, very excited to see what he could do. Meanwhile, Nirde continues to buy time until they get to the border, and she's able to tap into this power of hers because her hair's getting burnt in the process. So by abandoning what's precious to her, she's able to use her ult. So the time limit she had earlier in her fight against Riyo was to make sure she didn't burn her hair, but now she doesn't care. So Rio's like, damn, I really should have put a hole in her skull. However, even after getting hit by her full power, Rudo is still going. Hopefully Zanka's not eating this shit though. Now luckily for them, the place where Rudo's nail flew into ends up breaking farther because of the trash storm. So now there's a hole sucking everything out. Nirde's ult gets cancelled and she gets sucked away. She tries to hold on but can't and eventually flies out to the border. And first time seeing it, she's like, damn, it's really nice up here, it's almost like I'm in heaven. Until she turns around and sees this giant thing just sitting there. And it opens up its something, I'm not too sure, but that's the Watchman series symbol. And when she crosses the border, everything precious to her is taken away. Then she realizes that's the Watchman, and she just gets erased from existence. Meanwhile, the crew is still fighting for their lives, and Enjin seems to have something crazy up his sleeve. But he doesn't get to use it, because Kita has woken up and she's here to save the day. And she's doing some goofy shit. Honestly, Team Child is just super amazing and fun, they're always doing something silly. So Gita's been holding on to Zanka, making sure that guy doesn't fly out. And she herself is not getting sucked out because she is super dense, she is not as light as she looks. She uses her jinky, starts tweaking out, and she transforms into a fucking kaiju. Holy shit, now why was she sleeping? She could have taken down this whole thing before it even started. And this isn't even her biggest form. So she just sticks her butt in the hole, and now we're chilling. So the crew punches the core, destroying the jinky inside of it. and the beast crumbles, comes falling down. Then we get the 7648th shot of Zodyl standing. Very awesome. So everyone grabs onto Gita. Rudo damn near falls to his death, but Enjin comes in clutch. Then Gita breaks out the side and jumps out, and we get this really cool scene of Gita falling with the cleaners on her back, and an explosion happens, killing thousands of people in the background. So they all made it to the ground successfully. Gita absorbed all the fall damage. She's basically a giant bouncy castle. No one died, only a town went missing, and Rudo retrieved Amo's boots. But not Amo though, so we're still gonna have to look for her. Then backup arrives, and I'm a dumbass because the place where the beast exploded is the place it flew off from. So that place was already trashed. I doubt any living creatures there, aside from cockroaches, because those little fuckers are everywhere. They can live anywhere. They are the master of adaptability. Those little fuckers, those right there are the Maharaga of insects. So fuck them. Anyway, so Tamsi wonders how one could create a trash beast. So Gita explains that Zodyl tried to cook up a Jinky to join the big leagues, the Watchman series, but he failed miserably, fell on his face and said, "Fuck me in the ass, let's make a giant trash bird." So she wonders if acquiring all these items from the Watchman series could somehow grant someone a wish, or maybe it could open up a portal to the sphere, or maybe it could grant them a giant lollipop or something.
私、時戻してあの半獣もどきとちゃんと戦いたいな。
Gita wants that 1v1. The crew all get their wounds treated. Zanka is still hanging on. Riyo could be doing better. Enjin could be doing more. But they all made it back safely. Then we get this scene, which is extremely crucial to the plot. So they run into an insurance fraudster trying to get a payday. But these guys came prepared with the perfect counter. Every scam artist's worst nightmare. I have no idea what in Christ's name is going on, to be honest. And they just drive off. That was cool though. So they all came over to visit Zanka, and Remlin is back. Remlin's here to apologize to Zanka because Remlin drew a different spell on Zanka. So everyone else got the spell that heals them after taking one massive hit. But for Zanka, Remlin decided to fuck around and drew a spell that makes his left arm really massive when he flexes. So that's really useful. In case he ever decides to enter a speed wanking competition, he can just pull up, roll up his sleeve, and one little flex and all the competitors are sure to pull out of that tournament and win the cash prize. Yeah, so Remlin feels real bad since if Zanka had the correct spell, he might have beaten Jabber. He might have actually got up after the flashback. However, instead of getting mad, Zanka just laughs it off. And it's not a "I'm gonna stick a bunch of knives into my brain" kind of laugh, it's a genuine laugh. Because spells are only meant as insurance, and it doesn't even count on it when he fights. So it doesn't matter. Mad respect for Zanka. He just sucks fat booty cheeks is basically what he's saying. He just has to get better. Zero copium, just reality knocking him over. But he is going to get back up. Rudo thought Zanka's gonna be crying because he's the only one who lost the fight, and he suffered a bunch of injuries because of Rudo, because they're trying to kidnap the spherite. But no, it's going to work even harder. Then we cut over to our dear friend Zodyl and friends, and he gives Bundas a little statue, an ancient artifact looking thing that says, Undertaker Canis Sherbrek. No idea what it is, but Bundas is happy and he officially joins the Raiders. And his first mission is to find more information on the Chokers, because the incident today confirmed that they're made by a giver, and it most likely has a lot of power since they still work even though they're on the other side of the world. So there's a good chance the person who made these collars has a part of the Watchman series. And turns out Nierde is still alive. Well, no, alive is crazy. She did fall from a very high fucking place. She's anything but alive. But her body hasn't been vaporized. But more importantly, look who that is. Hyo has made a reappearance. Absolutely massive. Hopefully we get to see her doing some badass shit. And we also see a new character, an absolute boner out of 10 mommy. The show just keeps getting better and better. It's like fucking Santa Claus just keeps on giving us presents. And Rudo also gives Zanka flowers to cheer him up. Now Remlin still feels horrible, feeling like Zanka was hospitalized because of her actions or his actions. We actually haven't found out about Remlin's gender, but I believe the subtitles use her? Nope, the subtitles use his, so I'm wrong, fuck me. So every single time I use she or her, I'm referring to Remlin. Well, I mean, with the scenes and what's going on, you'll understand who I'm talking about. Yeah, so Zanka gets up and encourages Rudo to go cheer her up since he's been looking through the window for quite a bit. However, Rudo says, I'm not sure if I'm the right guy, so Zanka goes, shut up and go. So he went over and asked Remlin to teach him how to draw, and that he'd love to see more of her art in Canvas Town. Remlin now feels a lot better. They all start drawing to distract her from those thoughts. Remlin's cooking, Gita is drawing shit with a smiley face, and Deer can't reach his pencil. It's a relatively chill episode, and Rudo drew recto. Very nice. Thank God they added the little text there, otherwise it would have been one hell of a guessing game. Then Remlin talks about how it's her time to shine, it's time for her to add her art to the historic spellcaster's mural. The mural located in Canvas Town. So Corvus decides to send the 4 kids out on a mission to go on a field trip to Canvas Town. Just the kids, it's beneficial for their growth and Rudo's going to look after them. But of course, Enjin and Bro made sure to follow them from afar to see what's going on. Then the Hell Guards pull up to the HQ. Corvus speculated this, which is why he sent out the kids. And the one guarding their HQ is swimming in his piss. He is terrified. So they all came in, sat down, my wiener is livelier than usual. So the Hell Guards are here because the giant trash beast actually did a lot of damage to nearby buildings. And the cleaners were supposed to report the situation to the Hell Guard immediately, but they didn't. So if this keeps happening, they'll have to get more involved in their operations. However, Corvus sees right through her. He knows for a fact Kyoka Nichiku, that's her name, the first squad captain of the Hell Guard's Red Horns, did not come all the way here just to talk about the civilians getting caught in the collateral damage. So she drops the pants. She's here for the spherite. They need to learn more about the sphere, the relationship between the sphere and the ground. But Corvus says no, he's working for us. Besides, are you really going to capture him just because of his race? That sounds a little fucked up. Meanwhile, Rudo and kids make a pit stop in Whole Town to grab some ink. So it's really chill, everyone's buying ice cream, having a great time. Rudo forgets to take his rabies shots, he starts tweaking, fiending for more sweets, but they're almost out of money, so everyone's holding him back. Then we see this guy, Fu, who actually followed them here and is going to ask them if he can join the cleaners, because Zodyl left him and he can't operate without someone giving him orders. So he's going to beg for them to recruit him and have them order him around. Yeah. Then suddenly a kidnapper pulls up, tries to catch them with the classic approach, I got candy in my van. A very dumb, stupid attempt. I mean, at this point, even a newborn before being able to speak is aware of that line. So Rudo's going to follow him for more candy, but he realizes the guy doesn't smell like candy, he just smells like dicks and sin. So he immediately obliterates his testicles. Oh wow. Damn. Kira's not playing around. I've heard enough, let her run for president. Rip off all the kidnappers' penises. Fuck yeah, Kira for president, baby. And Deer's actually really nice here, but that's the wrong person to be nice to. So seeing this, Fu then approached them because he's too scared. Then the 4 walk 16 kilometers, that's 10 miles, to Canvas Town. Then Remlin shows them the historic mural and it's actually on the ceiling at the entrance. So each spellcaster gets to draw one image that reflects their feelings and the times they live in. Then Enjin and Bro spawn in to check out the paintings. They're all just having a great time, looking at the ceiling, looking at the paintings, trying to figure out what the fuck do any of these even mean. Oh, that one has arms and legs, and that one too has arms and legs and is much beefier, and is that the head of a beetle, and does that one have boobs? You know, just really appreciating art. Until Rudo and Enjin all of a sudden notice that there's the mark of the Watchman series on the ceiling. The two quickly got up, and Remlin gets confused and asks if he's perhaps a fan of the old Undertaker. And she explains that those are the marks of all the friends of the original spellcaster, Makaka Eichel. They don't know all the names, but the Watchman series mark is one of Eichel's best friend, the Undertaker Canis Sherbrek. And after hearing this, Rudo's like, hold on, wait a damn minute. My name's Rudo Sherbrek. Dad? However, that's not all. We do get a little bit of credit scene at the very end, which I would have missed if not for Twitter. So we see Amo locked up. Thankfully, she is alive. And the person who captured her is fucking Tamsi. Jesus Christ. Thank God, we are getting a season 2, so that's really nice. Also, the Chainsaw Man movie just released digitally. Fuck yeah, I love the Chainsaw Man movie. The soundtrack is simply out of this world. It is a masterpiece. I love it so fucking much. It really makes you feel the craziness of Chainsaw Man, and I love that shit. I'm like climaxing just having the scenes play in my brain. I'm gushing coming on my eardrums. It is so good. Everyone needs to have a taste of the Chainsaw Man juice. Gachiakuta, I give it a solid 7.87 out of 10. I'd say it's pretty good, although the show does have a pretty slow start, but it's a pretty fun show. It feels like the story hasn't really progressed much, we're just doing a bunch of side quests. But Jinkies are fucking cool and the fights are really sick. I'd say the main thing is the story feels slow. But yeah, and the animation is also really good. 24 episodes and it stayed consistent throughout the entire thing. Studio Bones, 2 thumbs up, very nice stuff. And yeah, right, that's it. Goodbye.